The leaves are changing. There is just a little bit of chill in the air. For the first time, it feels like fall on College Football Saturday on FATV, where today the Falcons take on the Panthers of Plymouth State. I'm John Gugerty, joined as always by Danny Bolak. And Dan, the Falcons have a chance to play spoiler today.
Yes, that's right, John, and yes, welcome everyone to College Football Saturday. The Falcons come into today's game with a record of 3-5, 2-4 in the MASCAC. It's been rough going for them since the last time we saw them here at Elliott Field. They lost 32-16 to Framingham. Since then, they lost 33-21 to Westfield in a game in which they turned the ball over 7 times. And then last week against Western Connecticut, a 55-34 loss down in Danbury, Connecticut, a place the Falcons have never quite been able to solve. Well, Connor Fitzsimons was the quarterback for the Falcons that day. He went 22 for 41, 272 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. Javon Brown-Simpson had a career day, 24 carries for 166 yards and a touchdown, including a very nice 69-yard touchdown run. That was MASCAC Play of the Week. Devin Samil was 9 for 91 with a touchdown. Connor Flynn had a touchdown as well. A lot of touchdowns in that game. Many touchdowns in that game. A few too many that the Falcons conceded.
Especially on the defensive end. You give up 55 points, that's too many.
Indeed it is. But the Falcons looking to play spoiler against a Plymouth State team having one of their best seasons in many years. 8-1 coming into today, 6-1 in the MASCAC. They have a shot at the conference championship.
They're actually ranked number 9 in the NCAA East this year, a top 10 opponent coming to Elliott Field. And as you said, they're sporting an 8-1 record, coming off a 17-0 defeat of Westfield State. They've won, looks like 6 games in a row now. Their last loss was way back in September against WestCon. Another powerhouse team. WestCon sports a 7-1 record.
Indeed, that was the team the Falcons lost to last week, the only team that has stymied Plymouth, and even more so, the highest number of points that Plymouth has given up, if you exclude the 37-29 loss to Western Connecticut, is just 14 points. It's an incredible defense that Plymouth State brings to the table. 10.1 points per game they allow. Oh, that's in the top 10 nationally of all of Division III, and it makes up for the fact their offense is not that great. They only average 272 yards of offense a game. That's last in the conference, but they've still found a way to score 25.6 points per game, which puts them in mid-table in terms of offense, and they're in the... And of course, an 8-1 record is nothing to slouch about.
You mentioned the offense for Plymouth State. They really, for the most part, there have been the occasional game where they just get a bunch of points on the door and they blow the doors off their opponents. But for the most part, it's been a 16-6 win over Worcester, a 17-7 win over Bridgewater State, a 16-13 win over Framingham State, the team that we actually saw last time we were live here at Elliott Field. They beat the Falcons 32-16. They were only able to score 13 points against this Panther defense. So how do you think the Falcons are going to be able to move the ball against this dominant defense?
Well, I think the challenge for Fitchburg is they're playing a very tough run defense in Plymouth State. The Panthers only allow on average about 100 rushing yards a game. For comparison, the Falcons allow 212. But besides that, to think when Framingham took on Plymouth a few weeks ago, we saw Karan Wright last time, and he ran against the Falcons at will. Against Plymouth State, they only ran the ball 9 times, Karan Wright did. They ended up going with 47 passes through the air from Zach Walker. I think Connor Fitzsimons is going to have to be on his best today, trying to hit his targets consistently and accurately. Try to limit the interceptions, try to limit the turnovers, just try to find a way to slice and dice through the Panthers defense, because if there's a weak point to it, it would be the pass game.
You see the Panthers taking the field now. They are in the all-white jerseys, white pants with, from a broadcaster's perspective, nice, clear green numbers. Easy to see. We like that. It's a very striking uniform, actually, as the Panthers take the field. You mentioned they came in with the 8-1 record. From the Falcons side of the ball, they come in with not as good a record, 3-5, 2-4 in the MASCAC, and they are going to be on their 3rd starting quarterback of the season as they come into this game.
Indeed, Connor Fitzsimons got his first start last week. Didn't look too bad. I mean, obviously there are always things that you can improve on for the most part, but for Fitzsimons, this is the first home game he'll have this season, and it's going to be a test for him to see what he can do against this very tough Plymouth State defense.
The unfortunate injury to Nelson Valerio in our last game, he has not played since. We don't expect to see him again this season. We hope that he is better for next season and frankly just going forward for Nelson Valerio. James Antonelli stepped in. He was ineffective. Connor Fitzsimons takes over today. It's a tough challenge for Fitzsimons going up against this Panther defense.
Indeed it is. For this Plymouth State team, they have a shot at winning the conference, and the main thing for them is they have to win today. If they lose this game today, it's going to take a very specific set of circumstances for Plymouth to win the conference, which would involve a three-way tie and Western losing their last two games.
So basically, and this is Plymouth State's last regular season game of the season, they will certainly, they have to win today. They have to get some help. I believe Worcester State has to lose, if I'm looking at your matrix here correctly.
Western Connecticut.
Western Connecticut, I'm sorry.
If they lose to Framingham today and Plymouth wins today, then we're going to be seeing the 2017 MASCAC champions.
Well, then, let's not root for that because we're a little bit biased here on Fitchburg Access Television, being from Fitchburg. We should just root for the Falcons to win and then screw up their flash.
As I said, the Falcons are looking to play stronger today, and that's sort of part of the challenge, if you will.
This is obviously, as you mentioned, a game with impact ramifications not only for Plymouth State but for other teams in this conference. If you should happen to know anybody in Plymouth, in Western Connecticut, anywhere around this great world of ours who should want to watch this game, just tell them to go to fatv.org. Live streaming is available, as with all of the FATV sports events.
And remember that it's Plymouth, New Hampshire that this team is from, not Plymouth, Massachusetts. Although if you have friends in Plymouth, Mass who want to watch a team called Plymouth State play, by all means, invite them to tune in at fatv.org.
I absolutely knew that. That is a fact that I was aware of. Not a lot of people know that, actually, that they are from Plymouth, New Hampshire.
Well, you think it's a team called Plymouth State out of the MASCAC, you would think, right?
Mm-hmm.
But nope, not so. No, Plymouth, New Hampshire.
Yes, absolutely.
2-hour drive. We are going to pause for the national anthem. Kickoff is next here on FATV.
Fitchburg State University football here on FATV. I'm John Gugerty, joined by Danny Bolak. And Dan, if you're just joining us at home, the Falcons are taking on the Panthers of Plymouth State today. Plymouth State coming in with an 8-1 record, one of the dominant teams, not just in the MASCAC, but across all Division III football.
Yep, number 9 in the first regional rankings released by the NCAA. Just behind, second and best in the MASCAC because Western Connecticut's number 8. And Framingham State just happened to miss the cut. Also of note, too, number 10 on that list, Curry College, who the Falcons opened the season against. The Falcons have played 2 ranked opponents. They lost to both of them, but they have played 2 ranked opponents.
That's something.
This will be their third today.
Plymouth State will kick off to start the game. They'll be going right to left across your high-definition television screens. Falcons on the left side in their green jerseys, gold pants. Still getting used to the fact that the visiting team is on the near side here at Elliott Field. That's a change that was made this year.
Indeed it was. Jeremy Martin getting ready to kick off. The standout from Shepherd Hill Regional High School. He's from Charlton. And by standout, I mean he played soccer.
He was a standout soccer player.
Yes, he was. But now he's the lead kicker for the Plymouth State Panthers. And he'll kick it off. We are underway here from Elliott Field. Ball will be bouncing out of bounds, and the Falcons will start from the 35.
One thing we were going to mention in the pregame, Dan, is that Plymouth State is one of the most disciplined squads in all Division III football. They average less than 4 penalties called against them per game, and here they kick the ball out of bounds, so they're already at 1.
Already at 1, 3.78. That's in the top 10 nationally. Interestingly, just second in the conference. They're behind Mass Maritime, who's just a little bit better at discipline, although a little worse in the win-loss record. Maritime with just a single win this year against equally struggling Maine Maritime. But now we're getting ready to begin. Fitzsimons under center. Javon Brown-Simpson in the backfield. Jesse Laster and Herbert Acosta on the near side for the Falcons. So here we go, 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. It'll be a handoff to Brown-Simpson trying to get through the line, and he's going to get 4 yards on the ground. At 166 yards of running, of course, it's going to be a challenge against this very tough run defense for Plymouth State.
Good tackle there. Looked like it was Malcolm Huseman for Plymouth State. He was being blocked as he made the tackle, but he was still able to bring Brown-Simpson down.
Huseman's one of the lead players, a junior from Burlington, Vermont. 28 tackles on the season. Also was forced to fumble as well. Play clock running down to about 10 seconds, but here's the snap. It's another handoff, and Brown-Simpson's going to go right up the gut, but he's only going to get about a yard on that one, bring 3rd and 5 to the table.
So the Falcons know about this dominant Plymouth State run defense, and they decide to run the ball straight at the middle, take it to them on the first drive. They want to see what the Panthers have for themselves.
Brown-Simpson now over 700 yards on the campaign. That's a career high for him in his senior season. So 3rd down, Smeal set up as the tight end on the far, one of the Falcon receivers on the far side. I believe that's Brown. Play action. Fitzsimons has trouble with it. He's going to end up running it back to the line of scrimmage. He gets a very small gain. Couldn't quite make it work for him. I think he was able to find a receiver, so he ended up running with it, and he was able to get about a foot.
Joe Esposito came out of the pile with the football. The officials ruled, and correctly I believe, that Fitzsimons was down. But Plymouth State's defense stands up. They are as advertised. Take a look at this one again. Fitzsimons wants to throw the ball. He pumps, but then the Esposito is right there, can't get it off. Fitzsimons has to try to make something happen, and he winds up going down sacked.
You could see Esposito had his hands up ready to block any pass attempt. And that's why Fitzsimons decided to run with the ball instead. Barrentos will punt it away, and it's going to go through the hands of the Plymouth State Panther. And did he touch that football is going to be a big question. A scrum for the ball. Well, I'm curious to see how they're going to rule this.
The ball is in the end zone, and they haven't ruled touchback, so I'm pretty sure the officials decided that there was a muffed kick. I think the Panthers fell on it. We'll take a look at this one again while they're trying to decide. We'll see there, good snap, good hold, kicks away. And then right there, it goes right through the arms of Doug Arnold. And I think they're going to rule that Arnold did touch the ball, and then it's loose in the end zone, finally covered up by Kwaku Owasu for Plymouth State. Now the officials are ruling touchback. And I believe that is the correct call.
That'll put it at the 20-yard line.
So a near disaster for Plymouth State. Their dominant defense steps up, forces a 3-and-out, and then a muffed punt nearly gave the Falcons a touchdown.
Or even nearly a safety. It could have been disastrous beginning for Plymouth State. But in the end, they're going to be fortunate to start on the 20-yard line. Quarterback Zach Edwards taking the field. Now, we mentioned how good this Panthers defense is. Their O-line is very strong, too. They've only conceded 3 sacks all season long.
Great defense, great offensive line. You would think that would result in more explosive offense, more points on the board. But aside from, a 40-14 victory over 1-7 Mass Maritime or a 27-0 victory over 3-5 Mount Ida, the Panthers offense really hasn't put it together this year.
It is a bit surprising in the sense that you get a team that's 8-1. They're also one of the worst offensive teams in the conference. You don't see that very often, but they have a defense that's just so strong that it really does make it for them.
Meanwhile, we just saw, and we still see, over on the far sideline, Patrick Haverty is not terribly happy with the call. wanted a safety, thought the Falcons might have been on the football. He's not a happy camper right now. He's still giving the side judge some lip as they finally get back to live action here.
In a sense, it was fortuitous the ball went into the end zone. If it hadn't, Plymouth would be pinned even farther back. On first down, it's going to be a run to the right side. Mitch Baniskevich will go to the pylon. Got a lot of yardage on that one. Close to a first down if he hadn't already gotten it.
You mentioned that kind of in passing, Dan, but that really is another big part of this. You know, the punt not being down at the 2-yard line, not being initially ruled dead there, but going all the way into the end zone, letting the Panthers get back to the 20-yard line.
Gives them a lot more breathing room, opens up their options. Makes a huge difference in the long run. 2nd and 1 it will be. Edwards under center. Baniskevich deep in the backfield. But now he'll take it through the middle. He's going to get a first down. He's down just past the 35-yard line. First down of the game for either team.
You had mentioned the great work that the Panthers do on pass blocking, but here as we take a look at this one again, great run blocking by the Panthers. They run right off right guard. Baniskevich cuts it up the middle, and then he gets 5-6 yards before he's even touched.
Indeed he does. Baniskevich averaged about 4 yards a carry, 80 yards a game. Only 3 touchdowns on the ground this season for the junior from Milford, New Hampshire. Back in the backfield. Got all their receivers lined up to the left side, just 2 of them. So definitely reads the run, and that's what it's going to be, a run sweep to the left side. As Baniskevich ends up colliding with 3 different Falcons, pinballs off them before going to ground, and it's going to be another first down for Plymouth State.
Panther offense unstoppable thus far on the first drive. We saw Javon White calling for, I think he wanted a holding penalty called against the Panther blocker, not given to him.
Not given, and as we mentioned already, very disciplined Plymouth team. If they've only got a quota of 4 penalties a game, they've only used 1. But nonetheless, another first down for the team from up north. So Baniskevich again in the backfield, 2 receivers to the right side. Baniskevich will take this one, try to cut to the left, up the middle, taken down at the 50-yard line. And coming in with that tackle, Ryan Bednarik.
It's a better stand for the Falcon defense, but it's still a 4-yard carry. The Panthers will take that every time, although Baniskevich is going to head to the sideline for a breather.
One of the Bednars as well comes off the field for a breather as well. A small loss there as he swapped out for Wavall Prentice Jr. The Bednars is 6'8", 6'9", tallest players on the Falcons. And a big portion of the defense, and this is another run. This is a different Panther running to about the 35-yard line. That's David Hamilton, sophomore out of Westville, New Jersey. He's got a first down for Plymouth State.
So Baniskevich heads to the sideline for a break, but Hamilton steps up admirably. Gets himself 15 yards and a Panther first down.
They haven't passed it yet. They haven't needed to pass it yet.
They're all the way. They started this drive at their own 20-yard line. They've already moved 45 yards to the Falcon 35.
Just getting it done on the ground. That's all they need. I believe Hamilton remains in the backfield. Plymouth with 2 receivers split out to the right.
Might be a free play here for Plymouth State.
The flag comes flying in as Hamilton pushed out of bounds around the 31-yard line, but if indeed it is a free play, they'll take the penalty in the 5.
Saw one of the Falcon D linemen you see right there jumping over. I think that's it's David Bednars. Tried to jump the snap count, mistimed it. He was in the neutral zone at the snap. And the Panthers do, in fact, take the free 5 yards, and they will have 1st and 5 at the Falcon 30.
They continue to move the ball downfield.
1st and 5 on the Fitchburg 30.
So from the Panther 30-yard line, they put it right on the marker, too. 1 receiver on either side. And on this one, a run up the middle. It's Hamilton again. Down around the 26-yard line. Won't be good enough for a first, so 3rd it will be. 2nd it will be. Yep. In my head, I forgot to mark that yard off.
Second and 1.
But nothing spectacular on this one, just a run through the middle. Just trying to get through as best he can. Dylan Woods and Javon White teaming up to take him down.
Saw the Falcons bring some pressure on that, but it all came from the outside. And a good play call for Plymouth State. You run right up the middle against the outside blitz. There weren't many Falcon defenders at the line of scrimmage.
Now run to the left side. That is Baniskevich coming back into the contest. And he's crossed the 25, so he will have a first down. Come down at the 21.
This last ranked rushing defense for the Falcons really needs to step up. Plymouth State, thus far, they have been absolutely willing to keep handing the ball off.
That's right, and after all, we mentioned Plymouth averages 272 yards of offense a game. The Falcons concede 212 and a half yards of rushing offense a game. It's a matchup where if you can exploit that, it's like you look for every little thing you can exploit them. They just keep feeding them the ball. I mean, this time only 2 yards gained from Baniskevich on the ground.
About 3 on the play.
It's maybe the most effective stop the Falcons have had thus far.
Fitchburg State stacking 8-9 men in the box at the snap. Finally able to contain the Panther rush offense. Brings up second down and long.
You also notice that the Panthers are using a set in which they have 2 players lining up as tight ends and only 1-2 receivers at most. They don't give themselves a lot of options through the pass game. They haven't needed to use those options yet. They've called Letty on the left side, for example. But now they are going to pass. They're going to go to the right side, and that is complete. Making that catch is Pat Engdahl, senior from Sudden, just his 5th catch of the season.
That's good enough for a Panther first down. I believe that's the first time Plymouth State has gone from the shotgun today.
Yeah, we hadn't seen that yet, and just a quick pass, and you can see Engdahl wide open, able to get enough to get the first down as Woods wraps him up. Ball's on the 11-yard line, so get to the 1 for a first. Get 1 yard more for 6 points. And from under center, Baniskevich shakes off a tackle, goes to the right side, and eventually taken down by 2 Falcons, but he's able to get a few more yards that he wouldn't have gotten normally. Good read by Mitch Baniskevich.
I want to go back real quick to that play on second down and long. And actually, let's take a look at the first down handoff to Baniskevich. As you said, good running to the left, sees nothing there, cuts to the right, and he's able to get some good yardage out of it. On that second and long pass, we saw Zach Edwards really doesn't have the arm strength that you would expect from a starting quarterback. That was a quick little out pattern. There wasn't a lot behind it. I think the Falcons can afford to stack 8-9 men in the box for most of this game.
And Dylan Woods makes contact with one of the linemen. And a clear penalty.
I said stack them in the box, not in the other side of the line of scrimmage. It's a subtle difference. Take a look at this one again. Woods obviously coming on the blitz, tries to time the snap, and he just missed it. Gets an elbow in the gut for his trouble.
Because they're inside the 10-yard line on that. That was half the distance to the goal, so not a first down for Plymouth on that.
Second down and 1 from the 8-yard line now? No, it's at the 2.
The point is they're very close to scoring. Baniskevich is going to be taken down short of the goal line, and I think short of the line to gain. Or is it?
Nope, they're going to stop the clock, move the chains. It'll be first and goal for Plymouth State, I believe. At least they wanted to confirm the measurement, but it will be, looks like third and about a yard.
They've spotted the ball, looks like around the 3-yard line. So it is third down. I think it's the first time we've seen third down today for Plymouth.
It is.
So they really will stack it here. Go with the handoff, Baniskevich. Blowing through the line, touchdown, Plymouth. Mitch Baniskevich able to find that hole, get the few yards he needs, and it's the Panthers who strike first.
2-yard touchdown run.
It's a dominant drive for Plymouth State, Dan. Take a look at the touchdown again. They just go with that strong I formation. Baniskevich has excellent blocking in front of him. He is untouched into the end zone. That drive took almost 10 minutes off the clock.
A lot of time comes off. Jeremy Martin will go to kick the extra point for the Panthers. He's missed 3 this year. Kick is up, and that looks good, and indeed it is. Missed 3 this year, but he's made now 16, so it's a pretty good clip for him. 7-0 Plymouth, 5:09 to go first quarter.
One of the Panther linemen is down. See him there, number 34, Stephen Cockey, after the extra point attempt.
Junior from Hanover. He's back on his feet. Looks like he's okay.
Not very happy with the trainer for some reason.
We'll
See if we can spot what happens to him here. I think he just gets crumpled up in the pile.
Let's see. That seems to be what I see.
See him there. I think he's the second man on the right. Is that right?
Could be.
Could be.
Seemed to get the brunt of it. But indeed, that's the case. So each team with 1 drive. Fitchburg went 3 and out. Plymouth scored.
And Plymouth scored really with ease, Dan. They faced 1 third down. It was 3rd and a yard, and it was the play on which they scored. They only threw 1 pass, and it gained a first down. They just marched down the field, took up more than half of the first quarter, and came away with 7 points. Not a good first drive if you're the Falcon defense.
Martin to kick it away. And taken in around the 10-yard line. And he gets up to the 25 before he's tripped up, lands at the 30-yard line. Joshua Nelson with the run back for the Falcons.
Haven't called his name that much this year.
I would believe that'd be the first time. I don't recall ever saying his name either.
We have seen the Falcons try out a number of different kick returners, just trying to find some area in which they can put points on the board. As we mentioned, now on their 3rd quarterback of the year, with Connor Fitzsimons taking snaps.
They've even had Desmond Leslie, their 4th choice quarterback, take some snaps in the last couple of weeks as well. They've given him some opportunities. The Falcons just trying to make something work out of this. They're going to pass this time. It is going to be complete to Devin Samil. Samil trying to muscle for yardage, and he's going to be forced out of bounds past the 40-yard line. Looked like he was going to be taken out of bounds about 5 yards short of that, but then he was able to just keep on pushing, stay in bounds, and get the first.
That's great work by Devin Samil, the all-time Falcon leader in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Take a look at it right here. He takes a shoulder, manages to stay in bounds, and then, as you said, tiptoes up the sideline, picks up another 3-4 yards and a first down.
Falcons go 3 receivers on the right side, but they'll go up the middle on the run for Brown Simpson, and they're going to get a yard.
So Fitchburg State throws it on first down, trying to loosen the Panthers up a little bit, but they go right back to the ground game, and there is nothing there.
I don't think playing the ground game is going to be a winning option for this team. I really do think they have to try to pass more. It comes down to trying to read this vaunted defense. Fitzsimons is going to throw another short pass. This is again to Samil, and Samil's going to be taken down at the 47-yard line. Not enough for a first, but it's a manageable 3rd and 4.
Second time today we've seen Fitzsimons take the shotgun snap and then immediately roll out to his right. We'll see what they do here on 3rd down.
See Fitzsimons getting signals from the Falcons sideline, 80-29, 61-41, the signs that they have are in code that makes perfect sense to them. It's going to be play action, roll out left side. Fitzsimons with time, he'll throw long down the field, and that is caught by Acosta at the 30-yard line. Herbert Acosta able to pull that one down, and looked like double coverage there as well.
That was double coverage, but that was a very accurate pass by Connor Fitzsimons. Falcons now pressing the advantage, go no huddle. The chains aren't even set. Of course, it would be a little more believable that they were going to snap the ball if they hadn't, after on every play this game, Fitchburg State comes to the line, fakes a snap, and then looks to the sideline for a second.
Now Fitzsimons throws right side. Acosta able just to keep it. Kept his balance, able to pick that up from just a couple feet off the ground. And he's able to pick up a few more yards there. And that was something I saw. I watched them play WestCon last week, and that was something they did pretty consistently as well. It just seems like it's part of their strategy. But hey, if it ever works one time, then it was worth it, isn't it? And for Acosta, I think he was able to use his short stature to pick that ball off the ground from lower and keep his momentum going as Brown Simpson tries to run up the middle, but he's only going to get about another yard. Try to keep the Panthers honest with a run, but they're ready for it. There was a very small hole there. He just wasn't quite able to get through there before it closed.
As you said, Dan, the Falcons do want to keep the Panthers honest, but it is tough to keep running the ball when you're just not getting anything going with it.
Falcons at around the 23-yard line. Third down, throw right side. That's complete. That's Samil. Samil going towards the sidelines. It's going to be good enough for a first. Down inside the 20-yard line.
And again, the second effort by Devin Samil. Take a look at this one. Catches the ball well short of the line of scrimmage. He's hit at the 20, but is able to lunge forward and get to the 18-yard line for a Falcon first down.
And Samil playing up his strengths. He's very hard to tackle. And even when he gets wrapped up, he's able to still dive forward and get a couple extra yards and get that first down. A run to the right side. Brown Simpson being pulled by the jersey. He's not easy to tackle either. It took at least 3 Panthers to take him down. It's another very short gain, though, for Javon Brown Simpson.
Brown Simpson here, you see he's literally, as you said, being grabbed by his jersey. Joe Esposito just grabbed on for dear life and would not let go. Only a gain of a yard for Javon Brown Simpson.
So second down, under a minute to go in the first quarter. Plymouth 7, Fitchburg nothing, but Fitchburg is threatening, and it's going to be a throw to the right side. That's incomplete. And he was looking for Jesse Brown, but that was thrown well out of his reach. And I think the one with the best shot at all of getting that one was Prince Gabali.
Take a look at this one again. Brown makes a diving attempt at it after the dropped pass. Well, not dropped pass, after the incomplete pass. We saw him look at his quarterback and gesture with his right hand saying, get the ball up. He needs it further up in order to make the catch. And a little bit of frustration shown there by Jesse Brown.
Fitzsimons looks to throw again. Pump fakes, throws right side. That's off a Falcon helmet and incomplete. And the person whose helmet that was off of was not eligible to catch that ball either, because that was Grant Jensen.
Take a look at this one from back behind the end zone. It looks like the Falcons are trying to set up a screen to Javon Brown Simpson, but Brown Simpson is not open at all. So Fitzsimons just tries to dump the ball off, really, and he conks his lineman in the helmet.
They'll decline the penalty to bring up fourth down. I believe Grant Jensen was downfield. It went off his helmet, and as I said, he was not eligible to catch that ball.
So after the incomplete pass, Fitchburg State now facing 4th and 9 from the 19. It would be about a 37-yard field goal. And there is a lot of confusion here for Fitchburg State.
Fortunately, the play clock is not started yet. And for Jeffrey Reichert, his long is 37 this year. He's 4 of 5. So this is within his range, but now, let's see, Acosta is the holder.
Acosta's the holder. Reichert on to kick.
It's a right to left kick. That kick is up, and it is no good.
Wide to the right.
Yep. That wider angle that you see in college football definitely makes a difference there. As in the NFL, that probably would be good because the hash marks are lined up with the field goal post, but they're a bit wider in college football, and he wasn't able to hook that in. So although he had plenty of leg, he did not have the accuracy. Just the second miss of the year for Jeffrey Reichert, and the Falcons don't get any points on this drive.
Falcons had some progress moving the ball through the air. Certainly better than they got on their first drive where they really tried to stick with the run game and wound up going 3 and out. See there the Plymouth State cheerleaders, a good contingent of Panther fans on hand, watching their 8-1 Plymouth State Panthers.
The last scheduled game as Edwards under pressure throws right side, incomplete, a flag comes in. Was that it? Was that near anybody?
I think there was a receiver and the flag came in from behind. That's not usually in the area of intentional grounding. I think this might be a downfield penalty on the Falcons.
The officials will talk about it, and we'll see what offensive pass.
Offensive pass interference.
Interesting. Well, it was a downfield penalty. You got that part right. But you don't often see the OPI.
No. Especially not on a little dump off to nobody.
So that hurts Plymouth a little bit.
1st and 20 now for the Panthers at their own 10-yard line.
It was half the distance, and because they were spotted on the 20, it was also exactly 10 yards back or something of that nature, but nonetheless. 1st down and much longer. Baniskevich trying to run through the gut. Doesn't get a whole lot on that one. He's down at the 15-yard line. I say he doesn't get a whole lot on it, but it's
still
actually
a 5-yard gain.
It's pretty decent, actually.
It's a very simple set. 2 tight ends, 1 on either side. They run off tackle left, pick up 5 yards.
2nd and 15.
And that takes us to the end of the 1st quarter. Only 7 points on the board for Plymouth State. But, Dan, if you're the Falcon defense, you've got to be worried about the ease with which the Panthers were able to move the ball downfield on their first drive.
It's always been one of the challenges for the Falcons is just the fact that Plymouth has been very efficient at running the football. They've been able to find holes. They've been able to exploit them for pretty good gains. And even when there aren't holes in the line, they're able to run out to the flanks and find some yards there as well.
Meanwhile, on offense for the Falcons, what do you think they're going to have to do going forward?
They're going to have to throw the football a little more. Fitzsimons was 5 for 7 on that drive for 50 yards. I think he did fairly well in terms of running the football. It's just going to be a matter of throwing the football, I should say. Just a matter of getting his confidence. We saw a couple of instances in which he was a little off in terms of the accuracy, but I guess we've always known that about Fitzsimons. Is he's not perfect in accuracy, but sometimes he does make some smart moves. He does make some smart throws.
One thing I've noticed with the Falcons offensively is that they have been moving the quarterback, moving the pocket a lot of roll to the right, roll to the left, quick screen pass, that kind of thing. We'll get back to live action here. Start in the 2nd quarter. Panthers now going left to right, facing 2nd down and 15 from their own 15. Zach Edwards, the quarterback. Play action fake. He's going to look to his right and throw wide open is Mitch Baniskevich across the 30, still on his feet. Now cuts it upfield, 35-40. Finally dragged down from behind. A big gain there and a Panther 1st down.
It's interesting they had David Hamilton in the backfield on that one, but they lined up Baniskevich.
Baniskevich is the wide receiver on the right.
All the way down there. And I guess everybody forgot about him, myself included. And Baniskevich found himself wide open and able to use his skills to gain big yardage. And suddenly that 2nd and 15 turns into a 1st and 10.
1st and 10 Panthers at their own 40-yard line. Edwards hands off. Hamilton straight up the gut. Plunges forward, gets about 4 yards. Call it 2nd down and a long 6.
Again, 4 yards per gain. That's not going to help the Falcons. They've got to tighten that up a little bit, do a little better with the line. And you can see there's not much of a hole there, but he's still able to get 4 yards out of it nonetheless. Ended up giving him 3 yards on that.
So this 2-headed rushing attack for the Panthers, Baniskevich and Hamilton, has proven very effective. Now Plymouth State will go from the shotgun. Hamilton to the right. Handoff goes to him straight up the middle. Big hole this time. David Hamilton has a 1st down. Stop the clock, move the chains. The Panthers are in Falcon territory again.
And the Panthers, they don't really do a lot fancy, but that 2 tight end formation gives them more players on the line to open up those holes. And all they've got to do is find the hole, run through it, get some yards, maybe move those chains, things like that.
These are not small guys either.
Hamilton 5'7", 192, Baniskevich 5'10", 175.
This is another new man coming into the backfield for Plymouth State. Nick Lancia, number 44, you see lined up as the tailback there. And Lancia will get the carry. He's hit in the backfield, spins out to the left, trying to get something. He is finally speared down. Malik Crowford driving him into the turf.
Gets very little of a gain. His helmet also came off at the end of that play, so he is going to have to come off the field for this. Lancia just 5 feet 5 inches tall, but look at how many tackles he was able to shake off.
For a second, I thought you were going to say, look at that hair. Because seriously, Dan, look at that man's hair.
He has excellent flow.
That's, Andrew Benintendi before he got that haircut level hair.
That's Minnesota ice hockey hair.
Yours is better. Second down and 9 for Plymouth State at the Falcon 45. Edwards back to pass, looks to his left, throws, passes very high, incomplete, probably an uncatchable ball, to be honest. Intended receiver was Chris Kelly, one of the captains for Plymouth. And there, as we said, are the flowing locks of Nick Lancia.
So watch the replay here. Long throw, left side. Yeah, no chance. Not with that defense played there by Morikita.
Now Plymouth State facing their toughest third down of the day, 3rd and 9. Ball spotted at the Falcon 46-yard line.
And Jordan Sukow's in the backfield now.
Edwards looks to his left again, throws high and incomplete, once again over the head of his intended receiver. And Plymouth State is going to have to punt.
He wanted Terrell Lewis there, the freshman from Nashua, but he overthrew him, and Lewis's 6'3" reach, not able to come up and get that. He also mistimed it. And the Falcons get a big stop there. And Jeremy Martin will come out to punt it away.
Plymouth State will try to coffin corner the Falcons now. Set them up deep in their own territory.
Acosta will be back for the Falcons.
Low snap, handled well by Martin. End over end kick, bounces at the 10 and kicks out of bounds. It's a good kick.
Very well placed by Martin. A small Falcon bounce gives Fitchburg a couple extra yards, but they're still pinned inside the 20-yard line.
So Fitchburg State will have to drive 88 yards if they want to tie this game up.
One thing I noticed looking at this Plymouth State offense is most of their big contributors are not seniors. In fact, a lot of their seniors on the offensive end are receivers. But after that, Baniskevich is a junior, Hamilton a sophomore, Lancia a sophomore, Edwards under center, he's a junior. Even the lead receiver by yards, Jacob Zoltz, he's a sophomore.
Handoff goes to Javon Brown-Simpson for the Falcons. He's got a big hole. First big gain of the game for the Falcon offense. Javon Brown-Simpson picks up 20 yards and a first down. So they fake the jet sweep coming around from the end and then hand it off to Javon Brown-Simpson running off tackle right, and he gets himself 20 yards and a first down.
Able to get to the flank, find an opening, and get some yards.
Back to live action now. First down handoff straight up the middle this time for Brown-Simpson. Plunges forward, gains a few. Give him a gain of 5.
Now Brown-Simpson feeling some confidence now. As we mentioned, he had the play of the week last week, a 69-yard touchdown run. And that one, and last week when he did that, he just blitzed through the middle, found a hole, and could not be caught. But in this case, Brown-Simpson, he's got some confidence in him now.
Falcons once again hurry to the line and then get signals. They have 2 wide receivers on the far side, 1 to the near, and Devin Samil is the tight end. Second down, play action fake. Fitzsimons rolls to his left, passes left. That's caught by Devin Samil. He's got a first down and more. Lunges across midfield, and he's out of bounds at the Panther 49-yard line.
Blair Zentek going low to make that tackle there and a pat on the back afterwards. And you could see even Samil, he could tell Zentek was coming and made sure to check up, not get himself hurt too badly. Able to shake that down, but still get the first down. And Plymouth doesn't have a huge pass rush, so Fitzsimons has found himself time to throw the football, and I think that helps a lot for him as well.
That was a really interesting play call, too, for the Falcons. Samil was lined up as the tight end on the right side, came into the left flat. Backwards pass on first down to Javon Brown-Simpson. He gets some blockers in front of him. This is going to go in the books as a 9-yard carry, I believe.
Indeed it will be, because that was a lateral, absolutely. But Brown-Simpson getting to the flank, and it seems like the run D is a little weaker out in the flank. So if you can get the ball out there, you can get a few yards. We've seen some of those checkdowns from Samil, which really work the same way. And I think that's something the Falcons are starting to exploit here with under 10 minutes to go in the second quarter.
These long handoffs, quick passes to the flat, even in that case a backwards pass. Now second down, handoff straight up the middle. Javon Brown-Simpson gets a couple yards and a first down. So if you count moving the chains as a success, that was a successful run. Other than that, he didn't do much.
I'll take that every day. If you can move the chains, stop the clock, refresh the downs, I'll take that every time. Keep the ball moving.
Falcons now set up at the Plymouth State 38-yard line. Brown-Simpson remains as the tailback. Two receivers and Samil on the far side. Handoff goes to Brown-Simpson straight up the middle. This time he's got a rugby scrum behind him. Pushes forward for about 3 more yards. Call it second down and 7 for the Falcons.
Able to get that extra push from behind and get a few extra yards on that. It's always helpful when you've got the O-line pushing another team's defensive line back.
Now Brown-Simpson heads to the sidelines for a breather. Stepping in is Jaquay Solomon in the backfield for Fitchburg State. Fitzsimons rolls to his right, passes complete to Devin Samil. He's got a first down and more, loses the football. Ball is loose inside the 20-yard line, fallen on by Plymouth State, and the Panthers take possession.
It was going to be a first down, another successful check down to Samil, but the ball just pops out as he goes to ground. And the ball, unfortunately for the Falcons, stays in bounds. See, number 13 was the one who forced that fumble. That's Grant McGregor.
Grant McGregor with a great job. As Samil was being dragged down, he reached in and ripped the football out. And Plymouth State was able to fall on it. So you see Patrick Haverty on the near sideline. Is he arguing the ball went out of bounds, maybe?
That would be the best argument that I could think he would be trying to muster here, and he would think that since he's standing right on the sideline that he'd have the best view of all, granted a biased one.
Slightly biased, just a little.
Just a little.
Just a little. The officials do not agree with him. Plymouth State will take over 1st and 10 at their own 11-yard line is where they fell on the bouncing ball.
You can see the Plymouth coaching staff led by Paul Castonia, the reigning coach of the year in the MASCAC.
First down handoff goes straight up the middle. That's Mitch Baniskevich. Ducks out of one tackle, lunges forward. Call him down at the 19-yard line after a gain of about 8.
Another big gain for the Panthers, and they'll just get right back to where they were in terms of that run game, finding those holes, exploiting them for fun and profit. Cuts through to the right side, and hard to take down as well.
I want to point out on that play especially, Andy Reardon, the fullback, number 48 for Plymouth State. You see him there lined up in front of Baniskevich, did a great job as a lead blocker. That play could have been blown up in the backfield. Handoff goes to the left, Reardon with another good block. Baniskevich dives across the 20, might have gotten a yard or 2. This time the Falcon defense stood tall.
Indeed it did. As the box man moved the ball moved his box about a foot to his left, indicating a very small gain. But still another third down, and I think this is only the second one for Plymouth today.
They had 3rd and goal, and then they had 3rd and long.
Yep, I don't know how I missed those.
That's all right.
They're 2 for 3. That's what happens when I don't have my live stats tab open.
3rd down and 1 for Plymouth State. I formation, handoff to the right. Baniskevich has the first down and more across the 25. Mark him down at the 27-yard line. Actually across the 30 to the 33. Stop the clock, move the chains. Halfway through the second quarter, Plymouth State has another first down.
Keeping it going on the ground that time. Move out to the right side. Able to get past the confines of the line. Get that first down. And Plymouth State continues to move like clockwork down the field.
Falcons were able to stop them on their last drive. Now Hamilton comes back in. David Hamilton will be the ball carrier. Straight up the middle running. First down. He's got a couple. Not much.
We'll make a little something out of that.
You know, Dan, every time that gentleman gets a ball carry, I want to channel my inner late-night television voice and just say, David Hamilton. But I won't anymore because I've done it now. He gained about 3. Call it second down and 7. And Nick Lancia will come in once again.
Setting up as a receiver to the left side. We haven't seen this 3-receiver set for Plymouth that much yet.
Handoff goes to Hamilton, running to his left. He is dragged down in the backfield. Absolutely nothing for him there. Looked like that was Javon White making the tackle.
Tried to find the hole on the left side in the sweep run and didn't get much of anything. Let's look at the replay. His angle from behind, he's trying to find that hole, but Javon White, he wasn't there when he tried to go through that hole, but then he became there. He showed up, made a dynamic entry, and took him down for a negligible gain.
3rd down and 7 now for the Panthers. Baniskevich is the deep back. Play action fake. Edwards under pressure, ducks out of it, throws to his right, passes incomplete. Falls at the feet of Colin Letty. Well defended by Fitchburg State.
I mentioned before that Plymouth has only conceded 3 sacks all year. They were very close here. Edwards just able to dodge out of that one and overthrew it off the helmet of Letty, the senior from Natick. Would have been his 6th catch of the season. But instead, looks like Jeremy Martin will be back out there.
The pressure was not successful in forcing a sack, but it was able to disrupt the timing of that route. Wound up with the incomplete pass. So Fitchburg State forces another punt. This kick is away, end over end, taken in at about the 26-yard line. Cuts it out to the far side and finally being brought down. It's a decent return for Herbert Acosta.
Down at the 33-yard line. And the Falcons will try again. They've been doing well at moving the ball. They've just had some unfortunate endings to their drives thus far.
Especially on that last drive, they were really moving the ball through the air and on the ground with the deep, long handoffs before the unfortunate fumble ended their drive.
They'd gone so far down the field, too. It was definitely a bit disappointing, but the Falcons have been doing well at moving the ball, at least, since that first drive.
1st and 10 Falcons at their own 34-yard line. Fitzsimons hands off to Javon Brown-Simpson, who runs into his own man but cuts to the left side. He's got a block. He's got a 1st down and more. Good running there by Javon Brown-Simpson. Moved the chains for the Falcons.
I think he tried to go where he was originally going. He probably would have only gotten about a yard or so. Bounces off his own man, and it gives him a moment to check where everything is. As his own man, though, there is able to hold everyone back. That's William Jamison. He holds back 2 Panthers, and that gives Brown-Simpson enough time to survey his surroundings, find a better opening, and get a 1st down.
And a great block as well by Darius Morkeski. Really sprung Brown-Simpson. Now on 1st down, a backwards pass to Brown-Simpson. He's going to dive forward. It's across the line of scrimmage, just short of midfield. It'll be a gain of a couple.
And they give him just the 2 yards on that one. And we notice Fitzsimons, he's going with these short passes, some of them sort of lateral, some of them not so much. Tries to shake off the tackle there from Malcolm Huseman. And of course, once again, Fitzsimons trying the hard count, doesn't work, as it always doesn't. They check the numbers.
One day they'll snap it on that first count, and they'll catch everybody napping. One day. Fitzsimons back to pass on 2nd down, looks to his right, throws right, pass is complete. Jesse Lastra the catch. There is a flag down in the backfield, usually in the area of holding. Take a look at it again. Actually, there might have been roughing. We'll see.
Personal foul. Off the passer. No contact below the knee. Number 59 in the defense. 15 yards at the end of the play. On that.
Johnny Devlin, the guilty party there, and you got it right, John. Roughing the passer called against Plymouth State. We've mentioned how disciplined they are. Just their 2nd penalty today. They're already halfway through their quota.
Isn't that their 3rd? They had a kickoff out of bounds. They had that, and I swear they had something else. They had an OPI.
Oh, yeah, they did.
They're 3/4 of the way there, and we're still in the 2nd period. How about that? Falcons get a nice break after the penalty. 1st and 10 at the Panther 39. Fake the jet sweep, handoff to Brown-Simpson. Cuts to his right and then is shoved down. Gain of a couple for him. Call it 2nd down and 8 now.
2 Panthers there. Grant McGregor, Matt Shea, there to team up to take down Brown-Simpson. But still, the Falcons continue to move the ball now at the 30-yard line. Back in Panthers territory again.
Fitchburg State doing almost all of their work from this shotgun formation with one back, 3 receivers, and the tight end Samil. This time Samil splits out a little bit as a receiver. Handoff goes to Brown Simpson, however, and he is hit at the line, spins out of one tackle just to be swarmed by another. Crowd on the near sideline wishes the referees would blow the bleeping whistle already.
Well, Javon Brown Simpson just didn't want to go down. In the end, they finally blow the whistle with Prince Gabali and a bear hug from behind. Trying to do his best to get forward progress. In the end, didn't really get much of anything, and it's already 3rd down.
Gabali is just all over Brown Simpson. That really was a late whistle, honestly.
They could have blown that dead a while ago. But it's a good thing he didn't get hurt.
3rd down and 9. The Falcons will take timeout. 2:17 left to play here in the second quarter of what has been a very fast-moving game to this point.
Well, we've not had that many incomplete passes, and we've had a lot of runs, so yeah, we could be done the first quarter within an hour at this pace.
Well, you know, I know from my time as an umpire that if you say around the 5th or 6th inning, wow, this has been a long game, the next 2 innings were going to be the longest innings of your life. So I fully expect this game to end 54-39 around, say, 7 o'clock tonight. That'll be fun. I want to call a 54-39 game. That sounds like fun.
It's like if only we'd gone down to Western Connecticut last week.
Yeah, they lost that game, Dan.
They lost that game, but they did have the high scoring you were looking for.
Yeah, well, details.
Yep. Let's go around the MASCAC. Let's have a scoreboard.
Yes, let's.
All right, so the big game, Western Connecticut and Framingham State, 12:22 to go second quarter. It's Framingham 13, Western 7.
And if you are a Plymouth State fan watching, you are in favor of that, yes?
Indeed you are. You want Framingham to win that game. Worcester's beating Bridgewater 14-6. They're early in the second. And 14-0 UMass Dartmouth over Mass Maritime.
Back to live action here, 3rd down and 9 for the Falcons. Fitzsimons back to pass, looking to his left, looking under pressure, and he is dragged down from behind. Great defense by Plymouth State, and Cam McGee is able to make the sack.
It's interesting, if you're watching on television, of course you are, we could all see Cam McGee coming from behind there. It was just going to be a matter of...
It's like watching a horror movie. He's behind you. He's behind you. He's behind you. I gotcha.
And I think even at the end, Fitzsimons sensed that somebody was behind him and decided to try to run for as much as he could get. But by then, it was already over there. So let's see what the Falcons are going out with. They are...
I think they're punting.
It looks like they're punting from the 33.
And you know what? It's 4th and 11. I don't hate this. Low snap, high end over end kick. It's going to bounce at the 20 and take a big Panther roll. It's going to wind up being about a 9-yard punt. So, not the best execution there. I really don't hate the play call. I hear that in your voice, Dan. I don't hate the play call.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough punting from the 33-yard line, but with 11 yards to gain and their big arsenal being those check down passes, it was going to be very hard to get that. But, of course, it ended up, the execution of the punt ended up being not great.
Not the best.
Nope, he was trying to go for something, get a bounce or something, tried to pin them inside. They got a bad bounce on that.
I think I saw him, rotate the ball sideways. We've seen, who's the punter for the Rams who's really good?
It's Johnny Hecker.
Johnny Hecker do that. I think he was going for that, and it's a risky play. 1st and 10 now, Plymouth State at their own 24-yard line. Handoff goes straight up the middle. Absolutely nothing there. Baniskevich is brought down. First real nothing play for Baniskevich and the Panther offense. I think Plymouth State is going to be content to go into the locker rooms with their 7-point lead and getting the ball back to start the second half.
Most likely. Although, the timeouts are as they are. I don't expect Fitchburg to start burning them after this, though.
Yeah, Fitchburg can't get the ball back with their timeouts. They only have 2 left.
Well, this is the second down play, though. But I probably wouldn't bother myself. Edwards going to throw.
Play action fake pass to the right is very high and well incomplete. I don't think Edwards has thrown a ball more than 5 yards downfield that's even been catchable today.
Yeah, Edwards does not give me the impression that he's a terribly accurate quarterback, but he does what he needs to do.
Yes.
He's 53% on the season.
That was a play action fake to nobody, by the way. Part of the reason the Falcons didn't exactly bite on it. Just notice that.
Yeah, if you're gonna
Baniskevich set up blocking to his left and the block went to the right.
Yes, if you set up for play action, you've got to try to sell that a little better than that.
So 3rd down and 9 for Plymouth State. They will, in fact, hand the ball off. Baniskevich just dives into the line, goes down after a gain of a couple, and the Falcons will indeed call timeout.
Well, with that incomplete pass, they have one left in their pocket. Might as well
28 seconds, why not?
try to make something happen. After all, you never know.
I wonder if the Falcons had called timeout after the first run, maybe the Panthers would have run on 2nd down. Oh my God, are we having a legitimate discussion of game theory, or has Twitter ruined that for us?
I have no idea.
I don't think we can ever talk about game theory, actually. Twitter killed that. So Fitchburg State calls their 2nd timeout of the half with 28 seconds left. They're going to get the ball after the punt with 15 seconds at the most?
15 to 20 seconds.
15 to 20 seconds and a timeout. Deep pass, timeout, deep pass. It's conceivable.
You try something like that, and I mean, with the game as close as it is, it's probably worth it.
Absolutely.
And you know,
especially with Plymouth State getting the ball to start the 3rd quarter.
Yes, that is that as well.
Very high snap. Martin gets away a deep spiraling kick. Taken in, no, dropped by Acosta at the 30-yard line. Gets out of one tackle, cuts upfield. And he's brought down at the 38-yard line with 13 seconds left. So I think there's just enough time, if you're the Falcons, for one 20 or 30-yard play, a quick timeout, and then a heave to the end zone.
Although it's going to hurt a little bit, a block in the back called against Fitchburg.
That will hurt.
And Plymouth does still have all their timeouts if they want to try to force Fitchburg to actually run honest plays. But I think with the 7-0 lead, I don't think they would bother.
You know, Dan, one of the Falcon coordinators was coming out of the press box area here. He heard you say that, said to himself, "Huh, that's a good point," and then went back and got on his headset.
Ah. They do set up in victory formation. And Plymouth is not going to bother with the timeouts.
So Fitchburg State just takes a knee, and we will go to the locker rooms with a 7-0 lead for Plymouth State. For the Falcons, especially on defense, after a very worrisome first drive, you have to be pretty satisfied with the defensive effort they were able to put up.
In the end, they held Plymouth to 7 points, and we do have a ball game going into the second half. I think they played fairly well on the whole.
Meanwhile, on the offensive side of the ball, it's been successful in fits and starts, I would say. They had some success moving the ball with short, medium-depth passes. One turnover really killed a promising drive. The running game hasn't been doing much, though.
The running game has been, well, actually, it's not been terrible for the Falcons. Brown Simpson is 11 for 61, 5.5 a carry, so he's been doing pretty decent. I mean, there's been a lot of those 1-2 yard runs, but he's been able to break through for a few more. The Falcons have been pretty good at turns of moving the ball down the field. They've just run into issues sort of when they get inside the 30-yard line, and that's been killing their drives.
Well, we'll see if the Falcons can remedy that in the 3rd quarter. We will step aside, take a break. If you're in the Fitchburg area, come on down to Elliott Field. It is a beautiful day. We've got a really good football game on hand for you, and the second half should be even more exciting than the first. But we will step aside, and we'll have the second half of action right here on FATV.
Teddy, Eric, my dad all day.
Fitchburg State University football live on FATV. The Falcons, as you can see, taking on the Panthers of Plymouth State, facing a 7-0 deficit at halftime. I'm John Gugerty, joined as always by Danny Bolak. And Dan, let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half of action here at Elliott Field.
Not a lot of scoring, but a lot of offense. We saw, I think, over 200 yards of offense in that first half between these two teams. Definitely moving the ball. And
take a look at it here. Starting off for Plymouth State, Mitch Baniskevich has been really leading the offense for the Panthers. You see Baniskevich there getting into the end zone with the touchdown, and the Plymouth State ground game has been impressive. On the other hand, for Fitchburg State, you see right there, Connor Fitzsimons rolls out to the left, completes a deep pass. Fitchburg State attempted a field goal on their second drive right at the end of the first quarter, missed wide to the right, so they were already down 7-0, couldn't get into the end zone there. Falcons have had some trouble on the ground, but here you see a big play by Javon Brown-Simpson, 20 yards, his longest run of the first half. And then Fitchburg State was marching downfield, but Devin Samil, after the catch and run, you see there, loses the football, fallen on by the Panthers. Big swing in momentum. Then right here, another big run for Brown-Simpson. Falcon offense successful in fits and starts, but you see there they take a knee to end the first half. So you take a look at those highlights and you take a look at the game as a whole. What do you think Fitchburg State needs to do to come back in this one?
Well, Fitchburg, I think, for the most part, they've been pretty effective in terms of moving the ball, especially on those last few drives. They've been able to get into fairly deep into Plymouth territory 3 times, around the 30-yard line, a little deeper than that. Of course, we mentioned Plymouth. They give up about 10 points a game, very strong in that department, one of the best in Division III football. And we saw the missed field goal, the fumble, and a 4th and 11, which they didn't want to take any chances with after a 3rd down sack.
The Falcons actually had an 8-yard punt at one point, punting from deep in Panther territory. Second half is underway, kick is away, high end over end, bouncing and picked up at the 25-yard line for Plymouth State. Really nothing doing on the return there before finally being brought down is Doug Arnold.
First time we saw Zachary Bingham get a kickoff today. The old St. Bernardians, shame they ended up getting knocked out of the playoffs yesterday by Bartlett.
So Plymouth State will have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 32. And for this Panther offense, they had one absolutely dominant drive. But other than that, they really haven't been able to string together successful possessions.
Yeah, they've been struggling a little bit from time to time. They get some good runs, they get some poor runs, and then Zach Edwards is pretty inconsistent in terms of his passing game. Baniskevich running to the left side gets only a couple.
Mitch Baniskevich, we mentioned, has been the lead carrier for Plymouth State. He has the only touchdown. We'll take a look at this one again. Just a good run off tackle to the left, and then the Falcon defense was able to bring down Baniskevich after a gain of a couple. David Hamilton will catch in, and hey, take a look at that. We got some actual aerial coverage of this one.
Wow.
Have I mentioned today that our camera people are the best camera people in Access Television?
They are just wonderful.
They really are. 2nd down and 8 for the Panthers. Baniskevich running to his right. No, this is Hamilton, excuse me. David Hamilton has a 1st down and more into Fitchburg State territory. Mark him out of bounds at the 48-yard line, but there are 3 flags all piled up at the 35-yard line.
It must have been a very blatant and obvious penalty.
Block in the back against the Panthers, so bring that one back.
And that was Chris Kelly, the senior from Belmont, committing the penalty there. And as I said, it must have been very obvious. That was 3
little flags all in a row.
It's like you don't see that all matched up so perfectly like that,
Yeah.
but
No, this flag is too small, and this flag is too big, and this flag is just right. It'll be 2nd down and 17 now for Plymouth State after the penalty was marked off. They're at their own 25-yard line, and they need to get all the way up to the 42. Baniskevich is in the backfield. 3 receivers for the Panthers. Baniskevich gets the carry running to his left. He is hit in the backfield. He is driven down in the backfield. A whole flock of Falcons falling in upon him. Adalberto Alamo finally drove him down.
it took several Falcons to take him down. The flock, as you said. Baniskevich tried as hard as he could to break out of that tackle. See the original tackle there.
Looks like Laval Prentice Jr. fell on top of him as well.
Yeah, I believe he was the one who may have wrapped up Baniskevich there. In the end, 0 gain on that play.
3rd down and 17, the longest 3rd down the Panthers have faced today. Edwards from the shotgun looks to his right, sets up a screen to the left, complete to Baniskevich, and he has blockers in front of him across the 35, and finally taken down just shy of the 40-yard line. Scary for the Falcon defense, but they are able to hold the Panthers. I imagine they'll kick.
I would think so as well. I mean, Edwards doesn't have a terribly accurate arm beyond 15 yards, as we can see, but that check down, that screen pass, that definitely seemed right in line with what they needed to do there. And they were able to get several yards on that one, ended up being stopped 3 yards short of the line to gain.
Chris Kelly is not happy on the Panther sideline. You heard him slam his helmet down on the bench. High snap away, a good punt. End over end, bounces at the 29, takes a Panther roll, and it will be down at about the Falcon 27. So Fitchburg's defense gets a stop. Offense will take over with 12 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
That's what the Falcons needed. They knew Plymouth was going to start the half with the football. I mean, they commit that penalty. That really hurt them a little bit there.
That block in the back really stymied the Panthers, yes. Fitchburg State comes out, led by Connor Fitzsimons. They have Javon Brown-Simpson in the backfield, 3 wide receivers. Devin Samil is the tight end. This is basically the base set for the Falcons. They've run almost all of their plays out of this formation today. Play action fake, handoff goes to Brown-Simpson, running straight up the middle. And he gets a couple yards. I think that's the 3rd or 4th time today, Dan, that they've moved Acosta in motion and then faked a handoff to him, only to hand off to Brown-Simpson. I think eventually they're going to have to hand that ball to Acosta to get some yardage.
I mean, I've seen them earlier this year do that where they do hand the ball off to Acosta, so it's a little interesting that they've been faking it, handing off to Brown-Simpson instead. But it seems as if in recent weeks they've stopped handing it off to Acosta on those sweet plays.
2nd down and 7, quick pass to the right is complete. Fitzsimons finds Devin Samil. Samil, if you're just joining us, is already the all-time Falcon leader in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. He has another catch and 4 yards here. We take a look at this one again.
The old reliable for Connor Fitzsimons, the throw to the right side, the short throw to Devin Samil. He's always open, able to get that quickly enough, and he's able to get a few yards after the carry as well. And I could keep talking during that because not yet has Connor Fitzsimons snapped it when he's doing the hard count there.
2 tight ends now for the Falcons. Connor Flynn in on 3rd and 2. It's a handoff straight up the middle. Javon Brown-Simpson has a first down. Stop the clock, move the chains. First and 10 for Fitchburg at the 45.
We've been seeing Plymouth have some success with the 2 tight ends, and right there you can see Flynn get a little bit in there.
You saw Flynn come around from the right side tight end position. He's number 44. You see him right there at the middle portion of your screen, and I just pointed at my monitor as though that would matter. But Flynn was able to get a block off. Now on 1st and 10, pass on the far side is complete. Devin Samil with the catch. See the Panthers trying to strip the ball out. It was Prince Gabali who was basically ripping at the football. Samil did a good job hanging on to it.
Well, I figure, Samil's already fumbled it once today, so just try to keep exploiting that, see if they can get anything on that. That was the first time all year Samil had fumbled it, too. He's already over 500 yards on the season now.
Falcons back to 3 receivers. High snap. Fitzsimons handles it under pressure. He's behind you. He loses the football. Picked up for Plymouth State. And there is a convoy of Panthers going untouched into the end zone. Touchdown, Jack Howarth.
And that was the most disastrous thing that could happen for Fitchburg State, to turn the ball over. And it's a scoop and score for Plymouth State. And the faithful from Plymouth, New Hampshire, elated.
A bunch of folks from Plymouth made the 2-hour drive down to Elliott Field. Take a look at this one again from our camera on the near sideline. Just coming in from behind, untouched, is Zach Garside, and then Howarth picks up the football. There's nothing but green grass in front of him. Touchdown, Plymouth State.
Again, as Fitchburg was trying to make progress downfield, and that happens. Extra point was good.
So 9:42 left to play here in the third quarter. For the second time today, the Falcons have had a promising drive snuffed out with a fumble, and this time it results in a touchdown. This is a 2-score game.
Indeed it is. A disastrous ending to what looked like it was going to be a promising drive, and now Fitchburg, the mountain's even higher to climb now if they want to try to play spoiler here. 14-0, 9:42 to go third quarter.
And we mentioned the Falcons have the opportunity to play spoiler. If you are a Plymouth State fan watching this game, you are also certainly keeping an eye on Framingham State and Western Connecticut. Framingham State leading in that game, score 20-7. They're at halftime now at Framingham State.
We ended up going so quickly that there were games still in progress in the second half when we kicked off for the third quarter.
I would bet there still are games that are in the second quarter, honestly.
I believe you. Those noontime starts.
Plymouth State will kick off, high end-over-end kick. Taken in at about the 15-yard line and diving forward to the 31. I believe that's Josh Nelson. And there are flags down once again.
Josh Nelson with the kickoff return. There is a flag down.
We'll get the call here. Hopefully.
That's the play. Personal foul.
Chris Tamaketti called for the penalty there. Fitchburg State probably a little frustrated. They need to keep that contained. Down by 2 scores with less than 2 quarters to play.
After all, it's frustrating. You're only down by 7, and then suddenly you see Plymouth come back, take 6 points plus the extra and all that. You got to keep your emotions in check. You don't want to be giving away yardage just because you got a little angry. You could keep your emotions, etc., etc., etc.
First down handoff, Javon Brown-Simpson. He takes a back body drop, but he does pick up 4 yards. Call it 2nd down and 6 now for the Falcons.
It's interesting the motions and routes that Brown-Simpson takes. A hop step and then nearly thrown over there by Grant McGregor. I've been saying his name a bunch today. He's been doing a lot for them.
He has. This Plymouth State defense has done a good job. They've scored more points than they've allowed. That's automatically a good job.
Indeed, you bet.
2 receivers near side for the Falcons. Motion at the snap. Plymouth State is pointing at the Falcons. The officials agree with them.
Connor Briggs called for that one at another -5. Basically undid the run there.
Falcon offense finding new and exciting ways to shoot themselves in the foot. They're a little fed up with fumbles, so let's try penalties. It'll be 2nd down and 10 now for Fitchburg State. Fitzsimon's getting signals from the far sideline. I am sure those numbers mean something. Quick pass to the right side is complete. Little bubble screen to Samil. He hurdles a man and then dives forward. Devin Samil has a 1st down and possibly a track offer coming to him.
Oh man, what a hurdle from Samil. And that gets him the 1st down too. Look at that. Prince Gabali thought he had something there. He had nothing there.
I was talking with Travis Falk before the game as we were coming in, setting up the cameras. We saw the track team has the hurdles lined up. Actually, back to live action. It's a handoff to Brown-Simpson. Dives forward. Just to finish that story, I was talking with Travis. We saw the hurdles lined up, and Travis and I were discussing just how terribly we would perform on the track team. We would not do well. Devin Samil, he might have a future there.
Perhaps. I mean, still got eligibility left. Try out there for the winter.
They do hurdling in winter.
We have indoor track and field.
Awesome. 2nd down pass to Connor Flynn is complete. He shakes one man, dives out of another. He's actually across midfield. Good work by Connor Flynn, staying in bounds, going up along the sideline. Mark him down at midfield, and another Falcon 1st down. Have a look at this one, Danny.
So now the other Titan getting involved here. Connor Flynn making his way up the field, the senior from Fairhaven. Able to get a lot of yardage there, do his best Devin Samil impression, and get a 1st down. And again, the Falcons are moving it into Plymouth territory. They are right at midfield.
Fitchburg State has been able to move the ball. They have not been able to hang on to it, however. 1st down, it's an option, and then that sideways forward pass falls incomplete.
And that was McGregor there who had the best view of all on the shovel pass. And that was something the Falcons used a few times, even got a touchdown last week against Western. But tried the shovel pass, and who was he looking for on that? I think it was Flynn.
I think it's Flynn right there, 44 in the middle.
He was just mixed in with the lineman, so that sort of threw me on that one. He's just trying to find Flynn and overcooked it on the shovel pass. That's an uncommon sentence.
An overthrown shovel pass. Second down pass to the far side is complete to Connor Flynn. This time he's brought down right after making the reception. Gain of only a couple.
Took half the Plymouth defense to take him down on that one. That's the least successful check down we've seen thus far. It's still got 2 yards.
I think the Panthers are starting to diagnose these quick passes. Might be time to loosen them up with a deep ball.
What's the deepest Fitzsimons has thrown today? That was Acosta's pass earlier.
I think it was that 15-yard completion to Acosta that we saw on the highlight reel right at the start of this half.
Yep, into double coverage.
It was a well-thrown one.
It was.
Third down and 8, Fitzsimons deep drop. Still under pressure, and he is going to be dragged down. He dropped halfway to Lemonster, and Derek Terrazzano was still able to wrap him up.
Well, we said they had to go to the deep ball there. That seemed like the best option of all, and Fitzsimons wasn't able to find anybody open. He tried to take as much time as he could, and then, well, that happened. Cam McGee also in on that. McGee and Terrazzano teaming up for the sack.
Loss of about 12 on the sack. Just like that, the drive stalls for the Falcons. They will have to kick it away. Their defense will have to stand up once again. Kick is away. High spiraling joint. Bounces at the 35 and takes a really good Falcon roll. This is going to die inside the 15, call it dead at the 14-yard line.
Well, I'll make up for the 9-yard punt earlier.
That'll pad your average out a little bit.
We'll make up for it.
Exactly.
5:35 to go, third quarter, 14-0 Plymouth. And again, as we mentioned, halftime at Bowditch Field in Framingham, 20-7, Framingham on top. And if Plymouth wins and Framingham wins, then, well, you know what that means. We've got our conference champions right here.
That's right. Plymouth clinches a share of the conference title today with a win. But if Western Connecticut loses, they win it outright. First and 10 for the Panthers. Handoff to the right side. Baniskevich gets a couple. Now for Plymouth State, it's about holding the ball, pick up first downs, grind the clock.
Exactly. About securing possession, holding on to it, and just running that clock down, keeping the ball out of the hands of the Falcons.
Falcon offense hasn't put points on the board yet, but they have proven dangerous. They've been able to move the ball, they just haven't been able to hang on to it. Second down and 7 now for Framingham State. They'll go I formation, 2 tight ends. Handoff goes to the left side this time. Baniskevich is across the 20. Mark him down right there. It'll be third down and a long 4. A very important 3rd and 4 for Plymouth State.
See another run up the middle again. It's all about keeping possession and keeping the clock moving. Can't imagine we're going to be seeing that many passes out of Edwards. We won't need them.
We really haven't. Edwards has only thrown the ball deep downfield a couple of times. He's yet to have an accurate one. Although this time he will go from the shotgun with 2 running backs.
Different set, a less conventional one.
Play action fake, looks to the right, throws to the right, wide open. Trying to hurdle a man. Elijah Johnson is not quite the hurdler that Devin Samil is, but he is a good receiver. Picks up a catch and a first down there, and we were just saying we don't think this guy's going to throw the ball. I bet that's what the Falcon defense was saying, and the Panthers take advantage.
You dare them to pass, and they go and pass. Elijah Johnson with just his 3rd catch of the season, the senior from Windsor, Connecticut. And he's got a first down for Plymouth. And that's really the thing they were looking for most of all.
You see there at the bottom right corner of your screen, the play clock winding down. Plymouth State using every second of it. Handoff goes straight up the middle. Baniskevich is across the line of scrimmage. Gains about 4 yards.
Even when he's thrown to the ground, he's able to get thrown forward to gain an extra yard or so. Again, 4 yards. Again, you average 4 yards a gain. He'll get those first downs with ease.
Really, Dan, this game has gone almost exactly the way Plymouth State drew it up. Their offense holds the ball for a long time, gets a score. Their defense stands up, impregnable at times. They get a score. Now it's 14-0 deep into the third quarter, and they have the ball. 2nd down and 6. Baniskevich, the ball carrier. This time he's wrapped up in the backfield. Manages to get back to the line of scrimmage, but no further than that.
Again, it's just about moving the clock. Wrapped up immediately by Morikita. Now 3rd down, but again, that clock's going to keep ticking.
Every 3rd down so important in this game. If the Panthers convert here, they can run out the rest of the 3rd quarter, get into the 4th, take another 2-3 minutes off the clock easily. They'll go I formation, twin receivers to the far side. Now in motion to the near side, play action fake. Edwards under pressure, and he is sacked! Kyreek Watford brings down the quarterback in a big stop for the Falcon defense.
Watford very happy there. As we've mentioned, Plymouth with a great O-line. Edwards very mobile. Only the 4th time this year that Edwards has been taken down.
That's a great replay. From right back in the end zone, Watford comes streaming in from the right side of the screen and takes down the quarterback. I know I just mentioned it 2 seconds ago, but I love the FATV crew. We do a great job, and I'm only mostly tooting my own horn here. Plymouth State will kick it away. Spiraling kick, goes to the far sideline, takes a really good Panther roll. This ball's going to be inside the Falcon 15. Call it dead at the Fitchburg 13-yard line. A great kick for Plymouth State.
Seeing Jeremy Martin, he's in his home county, if you will. And he's playing very well in the role of the kicker and punter today for Plymouth State, excelling at all facets of the game. He'd never played the game until he came to Plymouth State, until, well, he sent
You were telling me before the game, he just sent them a video and said, hey, you guys need a kicker, right?
Yep. Credit Tom Haley of D3Football.com for that one. And as head coach Paul Custonia said, who are we to say no? They already had a perfectly serviceable kicker in Jeff Madden, but another kicker is never a problem. And when you have a guy like Martin who can kick 45 yards too.
Javon Brown-Simpson, the ball carrier on 1st down, breaks through the line of scrimmage, dances out of tackles, still on his feet, still fighting for yardage. They will finally call his forward progress stopped after a gain of about 13 yards and a hard-fought Fitchburg 1st down.
Indeed, Brown-Simpson tough to take down. 5'11", 220. Try as they might, 3 Panthers on him, and he's still holding on to the ball. 4th Panther gets in there, a 5th one. There's just all of that effort. In the end, they never really truly took him down, just the forward progress. And Brown-Simpson's been getting better and better every year. It's a shame he's a senior.
Fitzsimon's back to pass, throws to his right, passes high but complete. Devin Samil the reception. He's driven back. They're going to give him forward progress and a gain of about 3 yards. Falcons probably have enough time to get off one more play here in the 3rd quarter if they want it.
Indeed, if they want it. But yes, this check down is starting to become less and less effective because Plymouth is starting to smell it more and more. Zach Zemba, graduate student from Manchester, New Hampshire, with the tackle there.
You see Fitzsimons, as he has all day, getting signals from the sideline. 7 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. They'll get one more play. Javon Brown-Simpson, the run to the right side. Second effort falls backward. Mark him down after a gain of 5. It'll bring up a long 3rd and 2 as we end the 3rd quarter of play. And Dan, this is a critical drive for the Falcons if they want to have any hopes of playing spoiler in this one.
Absolutely. The Falcons, they've been doing fairly well at moving the ball, but just losing it. Having those bad plays crop up from time to time now, ruin drives and then some.
They had a fumble lost. They had a scoop 6, as you called it. They had a penalty that ruined another drive. Falcon offense needs to be disciplined and keep moving downfield if they want to come back.
Indeed, it's definitely obtainable, even against this vaunted Plymouth defense. They've only allowed 91 points all season long in their 10th and final regular season game. I know I haven't said it yet too, but there are 2 New England Bowl bids up for grabs for teams from the New England conferences. And Plymouth's in pretty good shape to get that automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, but if they don't, they're almost certainly going to get a bid to one of those bowl games. And for Western Connecticut or Framingham State, they're going to be in the mix for that as well.
Plenty to play for here. And again, if you are a Plymouth fan, if you happen to know anyone who would be interested in the outcome of what has been a very tight game, we encourage you to go to fatv.org. Live streaming is available. But we'll hand it off to the 4th quarter of action, and with that, Danny Bullock, take us home.
Thank you very much, John. Hand off to Brown Simpson on 3rd down. They wrap him up in the backfield. He's not going to get the first down. And is it too early to think about going for it on 4th down?
I probably would, but then again, I probably would have thrown the ball on 3rd and 2, so what do I know? I really don't agree with that play call, to be perfectly honest with you. You've had success, some success at least, with the short passes, the dump-offs, the passes in the flat, and less success, less reliable success with the run. Plymouth State's defense got themselves all amped up, and they got the stop.
They got what they needed. Plymouth's really jumpy on the line there, and everybody's thinking somebody jumped. And they're going to say Fitchburg did.
So any thought you had about going for it or maybe a fake, now it's 4th and 7.
Barrentos has it, will punt it away. It's a line drive punt, and it's going to take a couple decent bounces. It will go into Plymouth territory, only barely. And it will be down at the 47-yard line.
I think maybe one of the Panther rushers got a hand on that one.
Could be possible as well. I didn't get a good look at it, but nonetheless.
Meanwhile, on the near side, you've got Plymouth coaches screaming at the officials. Paul Castonia is very upset, thought there was a block away from the play that could have constituted unnecessary roughness. The officials didn't see it that way. Honestly, I think this has been a very well officiated game, Dan. There haven't been too many flags. The flags that we have seen have been for good reason. I have no complaints with the Zebras in this one.
Neither do I. I think we've got a pretty good game. We've definitely been making great time as well.
You keep saying that.
I keep saying that.
It could still wind up 54-39.
It could. It'd be a great quarter, man. On 1st down, Baniskevich up the middle is going to get 9 yards. And he goes right into Fitchburg territory. I think this was the best starting field position Plymouth's had all day, too.
I believe so. Baniskevich has been the main ball carrier here in the second half, and this is his first really big run to show for it. Give him 9 yards, call it 2nd down and 1 coming up.
Baniskevich remains in the huddle. Zach Edwards delivers the play to his fellow Panthers. As it's Letty and Kelly moving out to the near side for Plymouth as the 2 receivers, but you expect another run and you'd get another run. It's going to be close to a first, but it is going to be a first. I can see the officials taking a yard and a half. So we'll move the chains and stop the clock. Another 1st down for Plymouth State.
Really not much you can do for the Falcon defense here. It's 2nd and 1. They're going to hand it off. They're going to get at least a yard. It's going to be a 1st down. Now if you're Plymouth State, you're just taking your time. You know, go in, call a play. Okay, we're going to hand it off to this guy. We're going to run it that way, and we're going to get some yards.
Indeed. The Falcons were able to hold Baniskevich there to 5 feet, but he only needed 3 for the first. Remains in the backfield, and there was a jump there. They're going to call that, so a free play. And Baniskevich moving downfield. He's not going to get the 5 yards, and so expect the offsides against the Falcons to cover the yardage there.
A couple of different Falcons jump across the line of scrimmage. That was a free play, but Dan, you ever see Kurt Angle try to give the German suplex to the Big Show? That was what it was like watching Naeem Muhammad try to tackle Baniskevich from behind as the entire line of scrimmage is piling upon him. It just reminded me of that. That's all.
I wish I could put that visual in my head.
It's not the worst visual.
So we first down and 5 to go. We get 12, 13 and counting in the fourth quarter. Plymouth up 14-0. It's a very Plymouth-like game they've been playing today. Having conceded a score in 2 weeks, Hamilton running up the middle. Gets a few yards. He's pretty close to a first down. He's not going to have it, but it's going to be another second and not a whole lot.
Good work once again by the Panther offensive line. Falcons might have gotten away with a face mask on defense. Take a look at it. Right as he gets through the line here, you've got number 95 for Fitchburg State. He's going to reach over right there and grab at the face mask, but no flag. He just touched it. I mean, that's only still a penalty.
If it was just a brush or something, I didn't look very hard at the replay, I'll admit. As it's a run to the left side, this will be a first down. Hamilton bouncing off tacklers, hard to take down. Inside the 25-yard line is David Hamilton.
David Hamilton is not going to miss his shot in this one. He is making the most of the carries that he gets.
Panthers first and 10.
Trying to time up the timing in the middle, but Hamilton goes to the left instead. White's able to get over, ends up bouncing off of him. It takes a couple more Falcons to take him down.
White went low, went for the big hit instead of just wrapping him up. Hamilton was able to bounce off of it, get 5-10 more yards. Now Plymouth State is threatening their second offensive touchdown of the game.
Another first down. Hamilton to the pile, doesn't get much of anything though.
You say not much of anything, I say 5 yards.
Yeah, 4 yards. Yeah, it doesn't look like much of anything, but you think it's not much of anything.
You think it's not much because you think he's brought down at the line of scrimmage, but you realize that the entire Panther offensive line moved forward about 3.5 yards with him.
Yep, that will throw you every time.
And again, for Plymouth, this is exactly what they want to be doing. Run the ball, grind the clock. Now there's going to be 10 minutes left before they snap this ball.
And so they do snap it. Baniskevich up the middle, wrapped up by just about everybody. A lot of Falcons there.
No real gain for Baniskevich.
That time I could have said not much of anything and I would have been right.
You would have.
It's not worth identifying who made the tackle because it was
half the defensive line.
Yeah, maybe the whole line.
The whole defensive line and a linebacker and both safeties, all of them touched him.
Yep.
And then Ray Lewis jumped on top, so Ray Lewis gets credit for the tackle.
Sure. Under 9.5 to go. Play clock really winding down here, and it's going to wind down too much for Zach Edwards. He's not comfortable with getting a play off in time. But hey, that means he milked all 40 seconds.
Exactly.
So why not burn a timeout?
That's exactly what the Panthers wanted to do there. Burn all of, that's what your timeouts are for. They were able to burn every last second that they could and then take a timeout, don't face a penalty, figure out what you're going to do on 3rd down and 6. And for the Falcons, what do you think the Panthers are going to do here? Are they going to hand it off, try to get 6 yards, or are they going to go back to the air?
Let's see. Well, already once we thought they were going to go to the ground on 3rd down, they went to the air and got a really nice pass to Elijah Johnson. So it wouldn't throw me if Plymouth was able to do that again, and really, they're in that sort of territory where you could probably dare and go for it on that.
You know, Dan, there was one play on the first drive of the game going this way at basically this down and distance. It was like 3rd down and 5. Plymouth State went shotgun for the first time, ran a quick out to the tight end. You remember that play? Mm-hmm. I think they're going to do that.
All right, we will see. We got Johnson out as that right tight end in that position, but Edwards looks left, and he was looking for Baniskevich lined up as a receiver, and it was out of his reach.
And you know what, Dan? They had it. They had that tight end running a quick out to the right side. Didn't go that way, looked to his left. Pass fell incomplete.
Baniskevich looked like he was pretty wide open in a sense. Edwards just didn't put it in the right spot. And as we pointed out, accuracy has been a challenge for him. And now we're going to see Plymouth try a field goal here.
And this is a big deal. If they put this through, it becomes a 3-score game.
Jeremy Martin from 36 yards. He's got it up. And it is good.
Jeremy Martin with the big kick makes it 17-0. Now Fitchburg State has that much bigger a hill to climb. 9 minutes, 3 scores. The Panther faithful are happy about that.
Indeed, now a 3-score game. And remember, Framingham State still up on Western Connecticut 20-7 early in the third quarter there. And as we pointed out, if Framingham wins and Plymouth wins, Plymouth State are the 2017 MASCAC champions. But now let's have a look at our camera crew here.
We've been talking about them all day. We've been talking about them all season, and for good reason. The folks who do the volunteer work at Fitchburg Access Television are some of the best folks I've ever worked with. Every year, the production quality gets better, the cameras get better, the training gets better, the graphics packages get better because Danny made this one and Danny's good at this. I am so proud to be a part of what Fitchburg Access Television puts together.
And it's an all-volunteer crew here at FATV, at Fitchburg
Absolutely.
Access Television.
And the guys in the truck too, they're fantastic. Each and every week we come in, there's a new thing that makes our lives better as broadcasters, that we think makes for a better program for you folks at home. I'm going to shut up now because if I don't, I will be talking all day about how great I think FATV is.
Yeah. So on the run back, it is taken by Sterling Garvin.
First time we've called Garvin's name today.
He hasn't had too many of the run backs this season. Only a handful on this campaign. And now we've got all the camera crew credited. That's Garvin's 7th run back, I guess I should say. But we never really noticed them before. Nonetheless, he gets a few yards on that one. And now let's see how the Falcons offense can do here. It would be nice if they could at least put some points on the board this game.
It would.
As the wind starts to become more and more difficult of a challenge. It's going to be a quick throw right side of Costa. He's got that one. Trying to fight for yardage, but of course a bunch of Panthers there. What do you call a group of Panthers?
Pride is my first guess.
I don't actually have the answer there.
Okay.
I think the folks at home probably have the answer. I don't have it, but...
I'm going to say a Pride and be proven wrong, probably, but I'm going to say a Pride.
Well, we'll say it's a Pride of Panthers that wrap up Herbert Acosta for about 5 yards.
Take a look at this one again on the replay. They just do the quick little bubble screen out to the right side. And Acosta's able to dive forward, pick up some yardage, but really not much.
And we actually have a timeout because one of the officials is hurt.
Oh, dear.
He is the umpire who's actually taken a hit there. Todd Soulier, the head athletic trainer at Fitchburg State, helping him out there.
Guys in the TV truck making sure they get their just credit, and they absolutely deserve it.
Yep, and Stefan Armand is going to steal a bit of water there. And looks like he'll be all right and fit to continue. It's the first time we've had a stoppage for an official getting hurt this year.
It's a tough job.
It is indeed a tough job, and the umpire's right in the thick of it, too.
Those guys really should have pads, to be honest with you. Or just not be there, but,
So it'll be second down, 6 to go. We're under 9 to go in regulation time, a 17-0 lead.
Fitchburg State really not moving with any sense of urgency, still setting up and getting signals from the sideline.
It's going to be a throw left side. It's going to be complete to Jesse Brown. That's, I think, his first catch of the day. And he's going to have enough for the first down there as well, down around the 44-yard line.
First down yardage on the play. Falcons first
Move the chains. It'll be first and 10. They set up quickly, but is he going to take the snap? Yes, he will this time, and there's a flag.
Flag down.
So the very first time that the Falcons hustle back to the line, set up quickly, there is a penalty.
A false start. They played themselves.
Take a look at it again. Falcons are trying to set up.
I didn't see it.
The only thing I can think is that it's the split end on the near side who might have moved his helmet a little.
Now it's going to be Laster on the check down. That's his first catch of the day. Laster trying to fight for yardage on the near sideline. Going to get 5 yards on that one. and make up for the penalty, but still the down goes away, and it's 2nd and 10.
About 4 on the play. 2nd and 11.
Falcons still going with the check down offense. This time Plymouth State played a little bit looser in coverage, so Lastra was able to make the catch and get something out of it. I think Plymouth State is going to be happy with Fitchburg picking up yards 5 at a time now.
At that pace, however, throw to the right side. That's complete, and that's Lastra again. That's more than a check down. That's enough for a first down.
Lastra made the catch pretty much at the first down sticks that time. We'll have another look at it this time. Really well thrown ball there. You can see the spiral on it by Fitzsimons.
And Lastra 2 catches in a row, his first 2 of the day. And just like that, the Falcons back in Panthers territory. First down, fakes the pass, goes with the run instead, and Brown Simpson up the middle, found a hole and got some yards on it. Down at the 38.
If you ever wanted to hear 45 people from Plymouth, New Hampshire shout the word draw, you just had that happen to you. Everyone on the Panther sideline diagnosed that play, but it was still successful, picked up 5 yards.
Now 2nd down, out of the shotgun with Brown Simpson to his left. He's going to throw, right side. This is Samil, he makes the catch, but now going to get wrapped up by a bunch of players. It's not enough for a first down. He's down inside the 35-yard line.
And he's down in bounds, in part thanks to the effort by Matt Shea. You saw him, and we'll see him here on the replay. He's going to be number 24 in white. He grabs the leg of Devin Samil and just holds him up. He's not down. The clock isn't stopping. He's not out of bounds. He's just buying time.
Another draw play, and it works again. It's another first down for Fitchburg State. Javon Brown Simpson moving the chains.
So Fitchburg State, after the draw, gets themselves a first down. 1st and 10 at the Panther 32. 6 minutes left to play in this one. Falcons with all 3 timeouts.
Another first down throw is tipped incomplete.
That one was batted down. Joe Esposito, we've called his name a couple times today. He got both hands up on that one.
Remember back in the first quarter on the Falcons' first drive, they tried to pass on 3rd down, but Fitzsimons held the ball and tried to run with it after he saw Esposito get up in his face, ready to do what he just did. So that time, though, Esposito with the breakup at point-blank range, 2nd down. So it's a pitch back to Brown Simpson. He's going to throw downfield, and that's going to be incomplete. There is a flag on the play. Well, that was nearly spectacular.
Matt Shea had both hands on the ball and a chance to wrap this one up. There's a flag down, however. Take a look at this one. Brown Simpson has trouble with the pitch, gets the pass off, and then Shea tips it away.
He's looking for Lastra in the end zone. But in all seriousness, what a play that would have been. Now, we have to make sure the flag's not actually against Fitchburg before we start saying things like...
Well, it's an incomplete pass, so...
Yeah, but if it was complete, and then the flag killed it, that would have been terrible. I would like to know if there was ever a lost cause to that. The official first getting word from Patrick Havery, now explaining it to Paul Castonia.
So the Falcons did have an ineligible man downfield. So, as you said, Dan, it wouldn't have counted anyway.
It would not have, but... And Brown Simpson, after bobbling the backwards pass there...
He did a great job just to get rid of that ball.
He did.
Maybe he shouldn't have because it was almost picked, but he did a great job.
And now here's a throw to the left side. This is Brown Simpson. He'll hold on to it. Try to get to the first down sticks. He's going to get there. He's going to get the first down and then be pushed out of bounds. Brown Simpson's had a great game today, I believe.
He really has. After an especially difficult first quarter, the Falcons have been able to get more yardage on the ground, and especially with plays like this. This is going to go in the books as a running play because of the backwards pass aspect.
And now Fitzsimons throws complete to Lastra inside the 15-yard line. He'll be wrapped up there. Falcons continue to move it downfield. About a 6-yard gain.
as I was saying, Dan, the Falcons have had a lot of success with deep handoffs, wide handoffs, backward passes almost that have gained yardage. So they have been able to penetrate this rush defense. No points on the board, however.
Now at the 13, throw to the left side. Brown Simpson trying to get around McGregor. Does so. He's going to have a first down, I believe. He's down.
He's right at the sticks. They will stop the clock. I think they're going to move the chains, set the Falcons up 1st and goal.
And this is the first time they've had 1st and goal today. I believe that's the first time.
It is.
They've continued to move the ball well and reliably. It's just they've had all those other drives end early, but now they've got a shot at scoring. 1st and goal. Fitzsimons rolls right side. He's going to throw to the end zone, or just short of it, I should say. It's inbounds. It is to Lastra. It's inside the 5-yard line.
Got about half the distance they needed. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 4. Falcon offense needs to move a little more quickly, in my opinion.
So now on 2nd down, throw left side. Brown Simpson, he has enough daylight to get to the end zone, and he stretches across in there. Touchdown, Falcons!
Javon Brown Simpson is 5 feet 11 inches tall, and I think he was wrapped up about 5 feet and 9 inches from the end zone. Look at this, he lunges forward with every inch he can muster, gets the ball across the goal line.
Full extension, he's able to get it across, get the touchdown, and put the Falcons on the board. Falcons will go for the extra point from Jeffrey Reichert. Costa will hold. It's down, kick is up, kick is good. 4:06 to go, 4th quarter, Fitchburg 7, Plymouth 17.
So Fitchburg State still alive. Fitchburg State still alive in this one, trailing now by 10 points.
We look around the MASCAC scoreboard. Framingham is up on Western 26-14, 4:19 to go, 3rd quarter there. They're still in the 3rd quarter. We're a quarter ahead of them.
We are a full quarter ahead of that game.
Yep. Worcester's over Bridgewater 21-14. They're about the same point in the game. Even a little farther back, UMass Dartmouth, who we'll be seeing next week right here on FATV, is taking on Mass Maritime, winless in conference, and UMass Dartmouth leads 16-7, 8:54 to go in the 3rd quarter. All those games are still in the 3rd quarter, and we have 4 minutes left in the 4th.
Well, you know, there's still 4 minutes. It could still somehow wind up 59-34. I would like to see that at this point because it would be funny. But anyway, if you are a Plymouth State fan watching us online, first of all, thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed the game. Second of all, the important game there, Framingham State still leading Western Connecticut with a little more than a quarter to play, 26-14. If the Rams can hold on and win that one, and the Panthers can hold on and win this one, Plymouth State are the MASCAC champions.
Gotta expect the onside kick here. Indeed it is. Now a bit of a scramble for the ball.
Plymouth State has it.
Yeah, definitely looked like Plymouth had that from the get-go.
Brad Rhodes, first time we've called him.
Junior defensive back from Epsom, New Hampshire, able to pull that one in. Falcons had to go for the onside kick.
Offside against the Falcons.
And so
that's
that
declined.
Yep, so it wouldn't have counted anyway, even if they'd recovered it.
Desperation times now for the Falcons. I mean, if you're just doing the math, it basically has to be a 3 and out, and you burn all of your timeouts right now.
You might be able to hold on to it, but if they get a first down, I think is when you have to start calling timeouts. But 1st and 10 from the Fitchburg 46-yard line. Expect 3 runs. Maniskevich to the left side. He's not going to get very far. And the Falcons are going to start calling timeouts now. Or
honestly, I think it's the right call to call your timeouts now. It's the first for Fitchburg State. They have 2 left.
So timeout was called. Bit of confusion over whether or not it was, but the officials have their little notebooks open and they're marking down the timeout.
We did see them signal, you know, wave the arms over the head, point at Fitchburg, so Falcons did take a timeout.
Also, if you're in the Fitchburg area, I'd like to also point out that Fitchburg State Ice Hockey is taking on Assumption at 4 o'clock today at the Wallace Civic Center.
There's plenty of time to get over here for that.
Absolutely. And the Fitchburg State Ice Hockey team starting out 1-0-1. They scored 3 goals in the final 4 minutes of regulation to force a 4-4 draw with UMass Dartmouth on Tuesday night. They look to be an exciting team. You never know what you're going to get out of them. I think it might be a good season for them. Vanaskevich up the middle, not going to get anything. And timeout number 2 is going to be called here.
Falcon defense doing what they have to on these first 2 plays. They've stacked 9 men in the box on each of them. They are bringing their entire defense, really selling out for the run. I almost want to say Plymouth State should go play action and try to get a dagger here, but I think that's a little too cute.
It might be a little bit. I mean, you give them the time. I mean, it's like a timeout if it's unsuccessful. It's a matter of balancing risk and reward. Is that something you want to do? I wouldn't mind trying it if I was Paul Cassoni.
If it works, especially with the way the Falcon defense has brought the house on the first 2 plays of this game, if it works, it's game over. It's a touchdown. It's 23-7 game. If it doesn't work, it's an incomplete pass, it's a sack, you risk a pick, you risk a fumble. There's a lot that could go wrong. I don't think I'd do it. I had the idea. I don't think I would do it. I think I'd just hand the ball off here.
There's also the fact it'd be a 2-possession game, in that it'd be a 2-possession game still. Fitchburg still has to onside it if they score. Let's see what we have here on 3rd down. So expect the run up. He's rolling out with it to the left side. Edwards looking for an opening, and he goes out of bounds, which is...
That's really the best of both worlds. You get the play action to try to draw the defense, but you've got a quarterback keeper. They didn't get the first down, but I love this play call. This is a great play call.
Get all that. The one thing that he could have done better was, well, in the end, they still roll the clock after all that, but with a play clock of 25 seconds, not as much comes off.
So Plymouth State brings out the punting unit. I would punt here. It's too cute to go for it, honestly.
Yeah. And they've pinned them deep a couple of times today. Acosta calling fair catch immediately, and it's nearly caught by Plymouth around the 8-yard line. That's going to be where they're going to spot the ball.
Maybe a little overprotected by Grant McGregor, but you know, the touchback is such a bad outcome there that the difference between the 8-yard line and the 2-yard line isn't that great.
It's like risking 12 to get 7. That's not a great bet.
No. And now Fitchburg State is really up against it. 1st and 10 at their own 9, 1 timeout, and less than 200 seconds to score 10 points.
High on the clock. Fitzsimon's out of the shotgun. That's the set they've been primarily using. Pump fakes, now throws. Bit underthrown, it seemed. And Lastra was able to catch it, though, come back and grab it.
A little bit low, a little bit in front of Jesse Lastra. He made the catch, but is brought down inbounds.
9-yard gain for the Falcons, 2nd down. Fitzsimon's quick sidearm throw, intercepted! It is picked off by the Panthers and brought back for a touchdown. Malcolm Huseman has iced this game for the Panthers, and the Panthers defense has scored for the 2nd time today.
Malcolm Huseman was wide open. There is nobody. I guess he's intending to go to Brown Simpson?
He wanted to throw to Brown Simpson. He threw behind Brown Simpson, and Malcolm Huseman, with the best look of all, gets in there for 6 points and puts the game away. Plymouth State's going to take a share of the MASCAC title.
At least a share of the MASCAC title, with Framingham still beating WestCon. Extra point is up and good, and just like that, any hope the Falcons had of a comeback is snuffed out. This game is all over but the shouting. Plymouth State can celebrate, and they have to watch the scoreboard.
That's what they have to do. They're going to have that webcast up. Boy, the 2nd time today the Falcons have turned it over, and Western Connecticut has scored since our last update. It is 26-21 now. They are in the third quarter, although the Framingham's webcast says they're still in the second. You forget to press a button here and there, and that happens.
I don't think the folks at home needed to know that. That could have been our little secret between you and me for the rest of time. We would have known, and nobody else would.
I'm never good at keeping secrets.
No, never. That's all right. That's what I like about you. You're nice. I'm sorry, that was mean.
So it's going down to the wire in Framingham. Meanwhile, Plymouth's done what they need to do, and as we said, if obviously with the victory, they take a share of the MASCAC title. They have the tiebreakers over Framingham, and they have a lot, and they have most of the time.
Now, Danny, you ran through the scenarios. You've got them all here. If Plymouth wins and Framingham wins, that's it, right? Plymouth
Correct.
wins the MASCAC.
Correct. They win. They're going to get the automatic bid as Fitchburg runs this back to the 30-yard line.
Okay.
All right. Now,
So let's go with a Plymouth win, and if WestCon is to come back, what happens from there?
at that point, it comes down to Western's game next week against Westfield State, and it goes like that. If Western Connecticut beats Westfield, Western wins the auto bid. If they lose that game, Plymouth gets it.
Okay.
And that's all that it needs to be. It's that simple from there. Of course, as an aside, just for the purposes of trophies and whatever, if Plymouth and Western, so like I said, if those teams win out, they both finish 7-1, they're both going to get trophies for conference champions, but Western Connecticut's going to get the auto bid to the NCAA tournament. And that's what really matters there, as Fitzsimons moves forward for a couple of yards.
I think that was pretty much a broken play for the Falcons. You see Fitzsimons, Samil, 44 not Nick Lancey, I'm looking at the wrong roster, Connor Flynn, all looking at themselves like, did I do something wrong? Did you do something wrong?
They forgot to look at the chart over there. The Falcons not really in rush now. They know this game's lost. And now Brown Simpson going to run it up, and he's basically thrown to the ground there by Joe Esposito. Him and Jack Howarth teaming up there.
One side effect, Dan, of having the switch to move the road team to the near sideline is late in the game like this, when you see an explosive play from the Plymouth defense, the crowd roars. Plymouth is playing to the fans here at Elliott Field.
And as we've mentioned, a large contingent made their way. Passes complete to Connor Flynn. Breaks a tackle, able to dive for a couple extra yards down around the 38-yard line. Not enough for a first.
It'll be 4th down and 5. I see no reason not to go for it.
Might as well.
4th and 4.
But it looks like they're not going to.
I have no comment on this.
I think at this point, Fitchburg furious with how this game has developed, especially from having 2 balls turned over for touchdowns. It's like at this point, they just want to kick it away and get the heck out of here. Let Plymouth have their fun, let them have their little party before they leave. All that good stuff. Barrentos sends this high in the air downfield. It goes off a Falcon, not like that matters. Unless it went off a Panther, but I think it went off the back of a Falcon.
I certainly think that's what the officials are going to rule.
1st and 10 from their own 39.
I don't quite see how that wasn't kick-catch interference, to be honest with you. It went off the head of a Falcon who was blocking a Panther. So right there, it conks off the head of the Fitchburg State up man. And I think the officials are just going to spot the ball and let Plymouth take a couple knees and send these fans home.
Yep, I don't think they need to get tied up in the bureaucracy. The fact of the matter is, we were able to get a football game in under 2.5 hours here.
That is true. And you know what, Dan? I don't think this one is going to end up 59-34.
I don't think it's going to end up 59-34 either.
Well, very well.
I think what this game is going to end up as is Plymouth State is going to get to celebrate. There's the Gatorade shower for Paul Custonia. They're going to celebrate their first ever MASCAC title, even if it's a share, even if it's something like that. And they're going to be looking at Western Connecticut and Framingham State. The Panthers haven't been to the NCAA tournament since 2008. They've been there 4 times previous. they'd really fallen in a rut when they joined the MASCAC. They were contenders for the Wooden Spoon every year, but last year they started turning it around, posted about a 500 record or so. This year they finished the regular season 9-1. Paul Custodia may have himself another Coach of the Year award, and as I said, I think Plymouth State's going to be playing again, whether it's going to be in the first round of the NCAA tournament or in one of the New England Bowls. The fact of the matter is this Plymouth State defense, they held up again. They outscored the Falcon offense, and they showed us what they can do.
This was the quintessential Plymouth State game. The offense did just enough. The running game was at times dominant. The defense, they bent a little. They did not break. They scored more than they let up. This was a wonderful game. This has been a wonderful season for Plymouth State, and congratulations to them on a well-deserved, at least a share, of the MASCAC Championship. Meanwhile, before we get out of here, we do have the matter of Fitchburg State football to discuss. Next week, November 11th, Veterans Day, a noontime kickoff against UMass Dartmouth. So come back for us. That'll be the last game. That'll be Senior Day at Elliott Field. Always a very special day. And we want to thank everybody who made this game possible for Fitchburg Access Television. You see their names across the screen. You're going to see the underwriters as well. We thank them for their time. Dan, I want to thank you. I thank everybody for watching. We will see you next week again, Senior Day at Elliott Field. But until then, for Dan Bolak, I'm John Gugerty. Thanks again, everybody.